not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors & Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors & Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate. Fans, are you craving the ultimate game day experience? Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill has your front row seat to all the action. Dive into delicious wings, juicy burgers, and ice-cold drinks, all served up with TVs covering every inch of the wall, so you'll never miss a play. Rally your crew, cheer on your team, and take advantage of game night specials every week. Stop in for a Nebraska basketball game with a party of 4 or more and receive a free pitcher of beer. Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill, right by the Lincoln Airport at 3111 Northwest 12th Street.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Welcome into the post-game post-up. Nebraska basketball just finished up another game. Hustle down to the block and get position.
Shot clock to 7. Hoiberg missed. Got his own rebound. Right back up. Missed it.
And there he is. Garcia. How big has he been down the stretch for this Nebraska ball club?
10 points all in the second half. Now the lead back to 3.
Join 93.7 The Ticket to break down the best players and key moments from today's action.
Sanford, a couple of steps from behind the line. And now Lawrence from the corner. He hits. And another eruption from all the red in Lincoln.
Not even close. Now Creighton has not been able to hit anything. 0 for 8 from distance.
Prager gets some space. He connects.
Post-game coverage of Nebraska basketball on The Ticket is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, the Lincoln Airport, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Here we gotta go.
Down to 5. Hoiberg kicks it out. Lawrence for the win.
It's the post-game post-up on 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, welcome in to the Husker Hoops post-game show. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s. Quickly, shout out our sponsors, Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Lincoln Airport, of course, Farm Bureau's Financial Services. You guys are welcome to join in as well, 402-464-5685, as we break down Nebraska's loss to the Purdue Boilermakers in the Big Ten tournament. With that being said, we got a guy who's down there live at the action, Jake Sorensen, joining us via stream, who is down there in the United Center in Chicago. Jake, we'll get to the text line and everyone's thoughts, but I just first want your initial thoughts with Nebraska's tough loss. They fall to Purdue 74-58.
Well, initially, Harrison, I'd say disappointing. Certainly, if you have now an hour plus, 2 hours after that game, you have time to unwind and think about it more, about what it means. But in the moment, it was disappointing. Nebraska against Purdue the first time, you know, they trailed by 16 points at halftime, have the epic comeback, force overtime, lose there by 1, and that was certainly disappointing how it ended that way and how it got that way. But you appreciate the fight. This game, neutral court, I'd say split fans. Nebraska and Purdue. It definitely was not a pro-Nebraska fan today. There's a lot of Michigan State fans in there, Illinois fans, a lot of other teams. But just disappointed, Harrison. Again, Purdue, like the first time, getting more loose balls than the Huskers, hitting the shots. I mean, it wasn't a terrible rebounding disparity this time like it was the first time, but you have to question. That's just a bad matchup, but guess what? Bad matchups happen all the time. and it can happen in the tournament. So you have to hope that you find a team that's not as big as them, and that's not a guarantee when we get to March.
Yeah, you mentioned the rebounding, and the Huskers actually, kept that disparity pretty close in this one, although it wasn't great. A lot of it in that second half is where Purdue really started to rack up on the rebounds. But in the first half, I want to say it was only Purdue by 1. I think what really stuck out to me in this game, Jake, is that you could tell me watching it live was you get to the sheet and the turnovers are pretty close. The shooting percentages, there's nothing extreme, but you get the points off of turnovers. And despite that being only a 1 difference in Purdue's favor, Purdue had 17 points off of Nebraska's 10 turnovers alone. And it just felt like every time Nebraska made a mistake, Purdue would capitalize off of it. Meanwhile, if Purdue made the mistake, Nebraska wasn't able to twist the knife the same way to make it sting a little bit more. And I feel like that was the key to the game for Painter and Purdue, was every time Nebraska turned it over or got a little sloppy on offense, Purdue would turn around right away and make us pay.
It fell well with UCLA in that way. Harrison was obviously a big deficit at halftime against them. Nebraska fought.
I lost your audio a little bit there, Jake. I don't know. It's just muffled. I can still hear you. There you go.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it was a situation, Harrison, where it's like UCLA. That game at California, Nebraska came out sluggish, and it was disappointing once again where they'd fight back in the second half. They couldn't chip it away, and it became a deficit that was too much to overcome. So similar story tonight for Nebraska against Purdue, and it's not a good taste in your mouth as you head into Selection Sunday to say, okay, where are we going? OKC was the thought. It still could be OKC. It could be St. Louis. We don't know. But a 16-point deficit loss is not a great way to enter the postseason when you thought at least get 1 win, get the feeling of a postseason win, and then we'll see what happens from there. So I don't know. It's an odd feeling for a team that's had a great year, and I'd be lying if I said I was very comfortable about saying Nebraska will for sure get that first win of the dance next week. Maybe it's over the top, but that's where I'm at right now, Harrison. A little bit nervous right now.
I think it's fair to have those feelings. I know immediately after the game, Huskers are a little bit worried about that first game going forward. But I will say this. I mean, as far as just seeding in the Big Ten tournament goes, we might be one of the 3 teams that gets upset today. I mean, you look at UCLA and Michigan State, they're playing right now. It looks like UCLA is going to pull off the upset. You had Wisconsin pull off the upset versus Illinois. I mean, this stuff happens. We might be one of the worst disparities so far today, and there's real things to point out and criticize. Again, the slow starts aren't ideal for Nebraska, but I'll be honest, this team, when it was undefeated, I thought maybe people think we're too good, better than what we are. And when we lost, those first games of the season, I think, well, now people want to take everything away and think that we're worse than we are. I'll be honest, my needle hasn't moved a lot on this team. I'm still confident that I think they'll be able to pull out and get that first win. Has your mind changed at all, just on what the expectations are for this Nebraska basketball team before tip-off to after tip-off of this game against Purdue?
You said a critical thing, Harrison. Nebraska has had a hard time since the Michigan game, end of January, of starting games off well. I mean, they put up 50 points in that first half at Michigan. Without Braden Frager, without Rink Mass, we said, okay, this team's pretty good. And at that point, you were still 20-0, and you're trying to get that, stay undefeated, and they had that remarkable first half. Harrison, besides, I guess, against Illinois, they were pretty good. They had, I think, 10 threes in that first half the next game. Since that moment, that loss, and we're talking early February, they just have not gotten off to fast starts. And this is now a full month of this. That's why they've gone 6-6 in the last 12 games, because they've just, again, partially have had some tough competition, but they have not been able to get off to these good starts. And that's important in the dance. You don't want to fall behind to a 13, 14 seed by 8 or 10 points early on and have them get momentum and say, here comes the Cinderella story. That's the last thing you want. You can overcome that. Nebraska is typically a good second half team. But in the dance, when all these teams are coming in playing good basketball, especially the teams that have had the automatic bid by winning their tournament, they have nothing to lose and all to gain. So they get momentum. You're a team that's never won before. Here comes your doubts. Here comes your thoughts about the last 12 games not being great. I don't think that they have certainly, they might have peaked in January. I still think they have a chance to make a run and be successful. But again, these slow starts have been too common. And in the dance and in the postseason, you just don't overcome those very easily.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, what was it last year? Jack Golke, you run into those teams where they have that 3-point shooting performance where they catch you off guard. And no, that's how Nebraska's defense likes to play a little bit. They'll give you the 3-point shot over the paint. Maybe some legitimate concerns there. Jake, before we let you go, we're already coming up to our first break here. What are some of the things that really stuck out that if Nebraska doesn't just want to get past that first round in March, but wants to make a serious run to add some extra cherries on top to what has already been a pretty historic run this year, although that March Madness win matters a lot to kind of put the finalized deal on it. What are the things that Nebraska is going to have to do, have to clean up here if they want to be a serious contender, just to at least pass, that first round of 64 and then the round of 32 after?
Couple of things. I mean, we just mentioned fast starts. That's number one. You got to start games off and not be down by 6 points early on, not have no points in the first 5 minutes. That can't happen. It happens too often for Nebraska. Number two, I hate to call a guy out. I'm going to call one player out because he's too important to this team. Hasn't played great in a month. Jamarcus Lawrence needs to be better for Nebraska. I hope this doesn't get clipped and say I'm trying to call a guy out. Listen, Jamarcus Lawrence is a senior. He's played in the tournament for Nebraska 2 years ago. He would tell you he has not been great over the last month. Think about his moments this year, Harrison, in Nebraska's biggest wins. Against Indiana, he had 27 points in the big comeback. Massive. Hits the buzzer beater to beat Illinois on the road. Big against Creighton as well. Like he has to be a catalyst for this team, and he's not doing enough. And I'm telling you, he would say the same. Off the bench, it's hard to say for Braden Frager. He's certainly been someone who has up and down, more ups than downs, but he's the sixth man of the year. You need more from him. He would tell you the same thing. So I think Rick Mass looks better. I think Price is still playing good basketball. Those guys I'm not worried about. Sam, I still think is great. Didn't have his best game tonight, but still believe in him. So that's three guys I trust. And Berke, he's not going to offer you a lot offensively, but it comes down to one thing, or three things. Fast starts, at least a respectable start. Jamarcus Lawrence, get him figured out, and then just find a way to still go back to what you did in the first 20 games when you were always the scrappier team, getting to every loose ball. You need to have that mantra and that personality again, and Nebraska can certainly advance to not just a round of 32, but hopefully the Sweet 16 and beyond.
100% with you, and I think that's fair criticism, right? It's to point out that Jamarcus Lawrence has been a little bit of a slump. I mean, that is what it is. That's the reality of it. But we've seen what it looks like when he's clicking and how much better this team is, and that's a senior on the team, and you definitely want that leadership as you get to what is going to be the most important part of the season, the only season that's left for Nebraska basketball. And any losses at this point going forward, that's it for the end of your season. So we're going to certainly need Jamarcus Lawrence to step up. Hopefully Rick Mass continues in the trajectory that he's been in. And then, even if it's a guy like Garcia, I see Fred Hoiberg keep making that push, trying to see if he can get in there and be, kind of a crunch minute guy if we need him in March Madness. We'll see what that looks like. But on the bright side, Jake, it is not officially March Madness yet. This loss did not end the season. For Nebraska basketball. Normally we're looking at this tournament to stay alive, just to get our ticket to the dance. So not all is lost. We still got more post-game shows coming up ahead here. Jake, I'll go ahead and give you the floor in case I missed anything for you here before we go ahead, throw it to break and potentially bring on Austin Norman on the other side.
No, you're right, Harrison. The positive is that Nebraska will play a game next week. The season is not over. This was not a great look in the Big Ten tournament. Certainly, again, like I said off the bat, I'm concerned. I'd be lying if I wasn't concerned about the way this has gone the last week or two. The Iowa win was nice to beat them, obviously, at home in overtime. It should never went to overtime. But this game, Purdue has been a bad matchup for a while, but there's bad matchups that exist all over the place. And Nebraska's got to find a way to get that edge back. I kept saying early on, they had the cloak of invincibility when they were 20-0. They just found a way to win. That's why they were in it against Michigan. And once they lost that game, this is not surprising. They went 6-6 down the stretch because that's just what happens when you finally lose a game. So I think they can get it back. I am concerned, but we'll see what the draw is on Sunday for Nebraska when they play either the next Thursday or Friday in the NCAA tournament.
Well said. Appreciate the thoughts as always. That is Jake Sorensen. We'll go ahead and let him go. On the other side, like I said, we should have Austin Norman joining us. You guys are always welcome to join in as well. 402-464-5685. No, it's quite a few hours after the end of the game, but of course we want to do our due diligence and give the community, the Lincoln community, its own service with the NSAA State Boys Basketball Tournament. But of course, we will always get to Husker hoops like we are right now. Don't go anywhere. We still got Another segment on the other side. We'll keep this thing rolling. Husker Hoops post-game show. Harrison Arns back at the ticket studio. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Red Custom Homes in Lincoln honors our fighting men and women of the military and all of the veterans who have gone before. We salute you and thank you for your sacrifice. We understand freedom comes with a price. Our prayers go with you and your families. Stay safe, stay strong, and may God bless America. This military tribute from Red Custom Homes in Lincoln, serving the community for 15 years. Call 402-499-6784. Saluting those who make our country stronger. Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those 2 magical days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 19th and 20th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday to get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it and stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings on 68th and O.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate. Fans, are you craving the ultimate game day experience? Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill has your front row seat to all the action. Dive into delicious wings, juicy burgers, and ice-cold drinks, all served up with TVs covering every inch of the wall, so you'll never miss a play. Rally your crew, cheer on your team, and take advantage of game night specials every week. Stop in for a Nebraska basketball game with a party of 4 or more and receive a free pitcher of beer. Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill, right by the Lincoln Airport at 3111 Northwest 12th Street.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Diode Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diode Tech online at diodetech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
Now back to the post-game post-up on 93.7 The Ticket. Post-game coverage of Nebraska basketball on The Ticket is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, the Lincoln Airport, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical. It's the post-game post-up on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back in as we collect ourselves after Nebraska basketball's tough loss versus Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. First game for Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament. Unfortunately, the first and last game as they got a good seed with a triple bye. Unfortunately, it was one and done. On the bright side, I don't know if you want to use comparison. Comparison can be the thief of joy. Also can be the tool for appreciation. You look at Illinois, they got upset today. If we're just looking at seedings, right? Technically, Nebraska didn't get upset. If you're looking at Vegas, if you're looking at the seedings, Nebraska was the 2 seed. They got upset. Looking at it that way, you have Illinois pull the upset, or excuse me, Wisconsin pull the upset over Illinois. It looks like Michigan State is going to get upset by UCLA. And then, of course, Nebraska got upset by Purdue. We'd be in the majority of seeds who've got upset today in the opening. For all those teams who got the triple bye, again, it's not a here you go, we can go lose today and it doesn't matter. No, this game mattered. I think the Big Ten tournament matters. There's a weird argument like, well, do you maybe want to lose the first day and save your legs? I mean, if that's your mindset, I feel a lot worse about the round of 64. If the mindset is let's lose because we're too scared to be tired when that time comes. I don't think that was in the mindset today. I think you tip your cap to Purdue for playing a really good game. You critique Nebraska in a few areas. Again, the slow starts, me and Jake Sorensen talked about it. If you're Nebraska basketball, you really want to avoid these. When you get into March Madness, it was Jack Golke last year on an Oakland team where if you start off slow and they say have a guy like Jack Golke or whoever it may be on that roster, I mean, it could be the St. Peter's Peacocks, the Golden Retrievers that upset the 16 seed, that upset number 1 Virginia. You never know how this stuff goes. You don't want that team starting off hot, and Nebraska kind of doing what's been doing a lot of in this past month, starting off slow, where Nebraska's playing a team who, yeah, they might be the lower seed, might not have as much talent on paper, but they're up by 15 points and they got all the momentum in the world. That's kind of the nightmare scenarios when you're talking about March Madness. That's what they want to avoid there. But let's talk a little bit more about this Purdue game. 74-58 was the final score. Purdue Boilermakers get the win for the second time in the season over Nebraska. First game was a lot closer. It wasn't that much prettier. This game, ironically, it was a better looking game for Nebraska. But again, the slow starts and then the turnovers. The turnovers, Nebraska kept them down. It wasn't terrible. Only 10 turnovers for Nebraska. It's just Purdue was able to turn 10 turnovers into 17 points. That's scoring on just about every single turnover that Nebraska had. And that, to me, was kind of the difference of today's game, where every time Nebraska was finding opportunities to claw their way back in, they would do a good job. And then there would be that one mistake. Sometimes that one mistake doesn't end up hurting you. In this game, it hurt them every single time. Again, if you're going to score 17 points off 10 turnovers, you're doing pretty good damage there. You're scoring on just about every single one there. And for Nebraska, I should double check. I think they maybe had 5 points off turnovers, if any. Points off turnovers. Yeah, so Nebraska had 5 off of Purdue's 9, and Purdue had 17 off of Nebraska's 10. Again, just, you credit Purdue. They're very opportunistic team, and they definitely took advantage of those opportunities tonight, and Nebraska didn't. That was kind of the difference. Shooting numbers. Purdue shot the ball better, right? 45%. They shot the 3-point ball the same, 32%. They shot the free throw a lot better and got to the line a lot more. 14 free throws to Nebraska's 9. They shot 86%. Nebraska, 4 of 9. Ugly 44% there. Rebounding battle, 37-29. Didn't get killed, didn't win it either. It's just, again, like you can go through this game, you can do the eye test, but what really mattered in this one was when Nebraska made a mistake. In very simple terms, Purdue produced points off of it. When Purdue made a mistake, Nebraska oftentimes failed to produce points off of it, and that was kind of the game. And the lead just kind of ballooned every time a mistake happened. Even though it was only 10, Nebraska wasn't turning the ball over like crazy. When they did, Purdue did a great job making us pay for it, and we just couldn't do the same. The hot shooting as well early on certainly helped Purdue, although it did just kind of bounce back down. Nebraska's got to figure out a way to catch some rhythm when it's not Price Sanford. To figure out a game where if Jamarcus Lawrence isn't going to have it that night, you got to figure out a way to get some offense, even if it's fast break points. This isn't a team that I see really pushing the court a ton. They'll pull back and run through their offense, which it makes sense. It's a good enough offensive system. But I think when they're struggling like this, maybe you just got to really lean in on being a fast, up-tempo team that, you know what, we don't have the size, but if we can catch you guys going downhill, maybe we get a good angle. We can get you guys to, at the very least, foul. And at the very best, foul, and we'll get the N1 and try to work from there. Maybe that's part of the recipe. I just know very clearly early on when they're struggling to find their offensive rhythm, maybe got to look for some opportunities, change things up to figure out, okay, if it's not Lawrence today, if it's Sanford's getting really just hounded, which is every game this entire month, like in the last month. Who can we utilize that's maybe getting ignored a little bit to get some easy buckets? Like even a guy like Berke Barutagel. Listen, he's not a great offensive talent out there. He's great for the physicality and he's good on defense. But, scheme some things up really easy, even if it's just like down to the block for Berke if you see a mismatch. Yeah, easier said than done. But I just know at the very least, there's going to have to be some answers for Nebraska avoiding the slow starts, especially because every game that is left is elimination games. All right here, we'll cover them on 93.7 The Ticket. But that's going to wrap it up for us. Again, a little prolonged post-game show. Myself, shout out Jake Sorensen, who's down there at the United Center in Chicago to cover the game. But we'll be back here tomorrow for NSAA State Championship coverage. Kicking off, we'll have the full crew calling them. Tristan Gomez, Nick Sainer, and Austin Norman. Myself be right back here at the studio. Nick Wyman, full crew. Back at it again tomorrow. And then, of course, Sunday. And then right back into Monday. We'll pretty much always be here. I mean, we're Sunday through Monday, 93.7 The Ticket. Appreciate everybody tuning in for the Huskers post-game show, though, as we recap Nebraska's tough loss to Purdue, 74-58. One more time, shout out to our sponsors, Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Lincoln Airport, and, of course, Farm Bureau's Financial Services. Lincoln Airport, American Airlines is back in Lincoln Airport, bringing new nonstop flights from Lincoln to Dallas, Fort Worth, Chicago O'Hare, starting in June 2026, with seasonal winter service to Phoenix, starting in winter of 2026. Tickets are on sale now. Appreciate everybody listening. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. We'll be back here tomorrow morning.